Okay. Let's do a brief review. The sugya that Nefesh Hachaim is speaking about is fascinating sugya of whether malachim are greater than people or people are greater than malachim. We find conflicting sugya this way, that way, and Machlekes Rishonim mentioned that the Rambam says very, very clearly that how could he even compare, says this in the Yana Chazaka and Yesodei HaTorah, he says it again in Bar Nevuch, how could he even compare an Adam to a Malach? A Malach is completely spiritual. On the other hand, Ravid and other Rishonim say, okay, but who says that godless is to be completely spiritual? Could be godless is to be more important. And more important is to have the homogenation, the harkava of Gashmias and Ruchnias, and not be completely spiritual. So, and whereas the Nefesh Hachaim brings the pasuk from Zechariah that the main difference between Zechariah touched up, that the main difference between Adam and a Malach is Hinenei Atem Holchim Bein Ha'oimdim. Zechariah talks about man walking amongst angels, that you're a Holech and they're Omdim. Pirush number is that an Obeid is an Obeid. This is your position. You stand there on the assembly line, and this is what you're supposed to be doing, right? So you're very important. Like if you figure an assembly line where you're making canned peas or cars or whatever it is that you're making. So whoever's on the assembly line at that point could have a crucial job. You're the one who puts the peas into the can, no question about it. But how can you compare it to the guy, to the CEO sitting in his office, telling all the malachim what to do? So what's more important? So you're an obey. Just stand where you are, hold your post, stay where you are. But you're not a holech. You're not supervising. You're not enacting. You're not making the whole thing happen. So in that sense, for sure, whether whichever side of the Rishonim you'll take, that a malach is more chashuv, I mean, I don't know what the difference is. Like, what's more chashuv? What does that mean by nafkamina? But what is a nafkamina is that we're considered a holech and they're considered obdin. So I quoted the Yeshayahu Perek Vav, which is really what I want to explain here today. And this refers to, as I said, the very first nevuah that Yeshayahu had. Until Perek Vav, it's all history. But Perek Vav talks about the actual nevuah, first time that Yeshayahu had a nevuah, and that was Bishlas Mois HaMelech, it was the Yahu, and Yeshayahu reported, Ve'ere es Adonai Yeshev al Kisei Rav Belisa. Serious nevuah. Ve'ere es Adonai Yoshev al Kisei Rav Belisa. B'shulav, Rashi says the Kisei HaKavod was Malei Blei Mesahechel, filled up the entire room. I'm saying words, I'm not understanding necessarily what we're saying. What did he see it as nevuah? Srafim oimdim b'ma'aloi, that there were srafim, which is one kind of a malach. The pshat nesaraf, pasuk of pshat nesaraf, is a saraf means like lashon sreifa, gets burnt, meaning it has 1 second of a tachlis or one tachlis, and as we all know about malach, they don't last very long. Keep on being replaced. You have a function, which is the ultimate in obey. You can't travel from one function to another. You're not multifunctional. So that's srafim. So srafim oimdim b'ma'aloi, and they are, reporting to Shayo, if he didn't say this, we wouldn't know it, they are sheish knafayim le'echad. Each one of these malachim have 6 wings. Knufya also means, knafayim also means to cover. It doesn't only mean wings. Kalaf means a corner, kalaf sil techelas, but also means knufya. Knufya means you cover. It's all the same thing, but in other words, you would take your scarf and throw it over your face, like a knufya. It's a knufya.
Why do they have to disappear in Sraf?
Where do they go, you mean?
No, why do they burn up? Isn't that what Sraf means?
Yeah, what should they do?
Disappear. Why do they have to cycle burn up? What's for that?
Yeah, I guess streifa is the ultimate in reducing something to nothing. Meaning, like if I melt this, it'll become a smaller thing. But if streifa is the ultimate symptom. Sreifa means, whenever you see sreifa, that means that you're taking something, it's the closest we could get to Yesh la'ayin. It's the opposite of the bria.
You burn over gas.
Yeah, it dissipates, completely gone, so streifa. Things get smaller when they're when they get wet, they get bigger. So there's a difference between mayim and eish. Eish uva mayim. So eish makes things smaller, kavetz, until it can actually, like you say, either dissipate or be mefazer l'roach, like we do with chavetz. Ein beer chavetz ela streifa. They have to get rid of it out of the entire world. So ein beer balachim ela streifa. That's the sraf. What does he do with these 6 weeks? Said Yeshayahu b'shtai b'chaser panav, u'b'shtai b'chaser raglav, u'b'shtai b'yofei. V'kara zeh el zeh v'yabar. And this, we're familiar with these psukim. The srafim, we only know srafim. We don't have anybody else here. So this picture, except for Hashem. Srafim are kara zeh el zeh v'abar, kadosh, 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 Hashem tzvakos.
Srafim is to do with sefer?
Huh?
Srafim is to do with sefer? Srafim is sefer?
It's the same thing, that's what I said. That's why they're called srafim. And they say kadosh, 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 Hashem tzvakos b'loi kol ha'aretz kivoi doi. V'yanu abayis hasipi b'kol ha'nerv, abayis b'alei asher, the whole house there filled with smoke. V'oiber. And Yeshayahu's reaction to this was, Oy li, woe is me, ki nid mesi, seems to be, nid mesi, Rashi says, hareni mes. I am mortal, nid mesi. I am a mortal human being. First of all, what am I seeing all this for? I'm sorry, ish tmeis vasayim aloichi. I have tmeis vasayim. I've spoken things which I shouldn't have spoken. From here we learn, Rabbi Chaim points this out, that the main thing that Yeshayahu had to say about himself was his mortality, and that he was metame himself with dibur. It could be, maybe he did other averos, I don't know, like Ein Tzadik Baritz Ashiyasatay V'Loyechta, maybe he was metame labeis, which would, but he's a tmeis vasayim. This is what made me not roy to see this nevuah. But not only that, I'm amongst the community of tmeis vasayim. That he reports, Yaga al pi. This is all part of the nevuah, but this is not an after. Yaga al pi, Malach came and smacked me in the mouth. Vayomer, Hidei logazel svasecha. I'm slapping you in the mouth. This might be a kapara for you. And you did a chet. And what was the chet that you did that you had the right to say? He goes on to say that ish tmeis vasayim aloichi. You could say that I'm a tmeis vasayim, but what are you saying that the mitoich am tmeis vasayim aloichi? That you're never allowed to say, and he shouldn't have said that and became a oilish golus, he says.
What shouldn't he have said?
He should have said that I'm sitting amongst the Talmud people. He was talking Lashon Hara about Klal Yisrael. It's ironic.
But he was saying negative about himself also?
Okay, so he's doing tshuva, that's vidui. You can't say vidui for the tzibur. Right? He was saying chatasa.
Wait for the people before explicit.
Right. He did a chat, he did an asha, he did it like a... That's not the way it goes.
That's different than Tachacha.
Tachacha is Tachacha.
That's not what he was doing.
Right. He wasn't. He was in a nevuah. Okay, so this is obviously, on the one hand, this is like a very mysterious nevuah. What do we have shaykhs to it? On the other hand, this nevuah has crept into our tefillah. It's part of kodesh. We're jumping up and down when we say kedusha. It's part of the tefillah three times really. It's part of the tefillah by Birchos Kriya Shema. It's part of the tefillah by kedusha and Shabbos and Musaf, and it's part of the tefillah by Yuval Tziyah. And there, each time is adding something else. I think it's important to note this probably was a Pashup Shad is that it was a matter of time and convenience, but the weekday Kedusha is the shortest version of Kedusha. Shabbos Shacharis is a more souped up version of the same Kedusha, meaning a description of what's going on. Musaf is even more descriptive, and then when you get to Yom Leroy, we go, whoa, like we're really talking about it, right? Is like if you start reading the Piyutim over there. So it's all a description. So I want to learn today, before we end, I want to go through the Musaf of Shabbos just to understand what's going on over here. But so it's very esoteric on the one hand. On the other hand, it's right there. So it seems to be yesodistic enough that it's like right in our davening, and we're saying it. So the first thing, I just want to mention something that I've mentioned before, that it's significant to note that, let's take the first two times we say Kedusha Desidra. So one is in Birchas Kriya Shema, and one is in Shemona Esrei Kedusha, Chazaras Hashatz of Kedusha. One you could say B'yachid. If you're davening B'yachidus, you could say Kaddish, 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 nothing wrong. And on the other hand, Kedusha, you can only say when you're with a minyan. Not only you can only say when you're a minyan, according to many poskim, you can only say it after you've said Shemona Esrei. That's the problem with the Heichah Shemona Esrei. After you said Shemona Esrei, you could say Kedusha. You have to be on a higher madrega. I believe the psak of just while we're here, Rav Soloveitchik, that he didn't like that everybody that when you said a Heichah Kedusha, he didn't like that the Chazan said the whole, L'chaya Avesiv, everyone said Kedusha, then everyone started Shemona Esrei, the way I think most of us do it, if we do that. He said that's not the correct thing. The correct thing is everybody should say Shemona Esrei together, start together, say it quietly while the Shliach Tzibur says it out loud, and then you should say Kedusha together as part of the Shemona Esrei. And the reason for that is that we don't have any other, first of all, you don't have any takana of such a thing. I'm just saying a little bit of Shemona Esrei out loud. But the point is, how can you say Kedusha if you're not saying, if you didn't do the avos, if you didn't do the Shemona Esrei? That's how Rav Hershel Schachter explained it to me. You can't say Kedusha unless you have some Shemona Esrei in your pocket. That's
lacking Kedusha. You're lacking Kedusha.
Yeah, where's the Kedusha of the Atzilus? That's the, he didn't say those words, but I'm saying those words. But that was how he understood the alumnus of Soloveitchik. So, but what's interesting is that, one you can say B'yachidus, one you can say B'tzibur. One, if you're in a pinch, you can be mafsik, B'dibur, shoyel b'pnei hashalom, when you're saying Birchas Kriya Shema, and by Kedusha, you cannot. It's interesting, even if you go to shuls that they talk, it's like the only shul I will run away from is where there's talking all the way through Davi. But it's just an interesting thing that even in shuls that talk, they never talk during Kedusha. I've never seen anybody talk during Kedusha. Just like an interesting Kedusha Yisrael, I guess. Nobody talks during Kedusha. You don't see people schmoozing during Kedusha about the news and the elections and things like that. After Kedusha, before Kedusha, during the middle of Kriya Shema, they talk. Don't talk during Kedusha. It's just like an interesting thing. So, but Kedusha, doesn't seem to be just like a repetition. It seems to be that we're much more serious about it. And by Kedusha, you have to have a Shemona Esrei before you. And by the Kaddish Birchas Kriya Shema, you don't have to have. Here you're sitting, here you're standing. Not only you're standing, but we're jumping up and down. Kaddish. Like it's much more exciting the Kedusha of Kedusha than the Kedusha of Birchas Kriya Shema. And the simple pshat, I'm just saying, simple pshat of this is that when we're saying the Birchas Kriya Shema, in the words of the Rishonim, Sipur Dvar Ba'al Bahu. We're just talking, we're telling a story, just like I just told you the story of Yeshayahu. We're telling a story. This is what the Malachim do, and Mizehu. When we're saying Kedusha, we're not telling any stories here. Now we're doing it. We're not talking about what the Malachim are doing. We are the Malachim in this case. So therefore, it's a whole different thing. So it's important, a simple kavanah to think about when you say Kedusha. We are now doing what we have described previously in our davening that the Malachim do. Now, we are being Mekadosh Shivchim. Kishem, just like, let's say Kishem means just like, we need to be behind into that. Kishem, Shebakti Sheboisei B'Shmei. And then we say Kaddish, we're jumping up and down because now we're doing what we learned that the Malachim are doing. Now, why are we doing what the Malachim are doing? If Malachim do it, why are we doing it? But that is the essential shot difference between the Kedusha of, Yeah, and between Kedusha of Kedusha and Kedusha de Sidra.
They can't do it before we do it. And which one is it that they can't?
Well, they are doing it before we do it. And then we're saying Uvalas here where we're totally chilled. Like Kabbalah Day, they're taking off our tefillin, and Kabbalah Day, picking out the pushka, they're already drinking the schnapps, already making l'chaim by Kedusha de Sidra. That's already So it's kind of like, it's kind of a strange thing in davening, even though we're saying the same thing. So the answer is we're saying the same thing, but we're doing something completely different from one to the other. That's the other thing is just let me just pose a couple of things to think about while we're davening, particularly on Shabbos, but really every day. Number one is why. Okay, this is important, Kedusha, that the Malachim say. Let's say it's important. We have to know why it's important. But why do we then? Why is it a birchos Kriya Shema? What's have to do with Kriya Shema? Another way of it was Lakesh Kriya Shema. All of a sudden we go from Yotzer HaBa'oros and Bakesher Ba'oros. What does the sun and the moon have to do with this? And we sing about it, Kollel Bais HaTalmud, we sing Le'el Asher Shom. We sing about this on Shabbos, but we say it every day. What does it have to do with the Ba'oros? And what does it have to do with Kriya Shema? And then I want to clear up a misunderstanding that in Kedusha on Shabbos Musaf, so we say Kaddish, 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 just like we do every day. But then, so what's the Kriya Shema doing in the Kedusha? Now this is not, the historians tell us that, well, there was a time in the time of the Rabbanan Spiritual where the Goyim didn't let us say Shema, so we stuck it into the Kriya Shema. Okay, that's the history. But it still has to make some sense that it's in the Kedusha. But the two things are the same. Like, why is this such a kasha? The two things are the same. Just like we say Kriya Shema after Kaddish, Kaddish, Kaddish in the Birchos Kriya Shema, we say Kaddish, we say Shema after Kaddish, Kaddish, Kaddish in Kedusha, right? Is that the same thing? Anybody ever think of that before? It's the same thing. And then we follow that up with Yimloi Hashem Le'olav Lekayach Sil Adar B'Dor. So there's a sequence here. So let's focus here. What's the connection between Shema and Kaddish, Kaddish, Kaddish? So this is a Mefurish Gemara. The Gemara says, I don't remember if we looked this or not, but let's do it again. The Gemara says in Chulin, Tzadik Aleph Amud Beis. The Gemara says, this sugya is the sugya of Yaakov meeting Esav's Malach. That's the sugya of Chulin Tzadik Aleph, which is a sugya to itself, but we don't have time in the next 10 minutes to explain that. But the Gemara says as follows. Amar Rav Chananel Amar Rav. Shalish Kitay Shamalachi Asheris Oirim Shira B'Chayoy. There are three, it explains really the Nevuah of Yeshayahu. There are three groups of Malachi Asheris which say Shira every single day. Shira, that's a new concept. We haven't talked about this, have we? So what is Shira? What's Shira? Az Yashir? Song, but what's the godless of saying Shira, huh?
Shira is like Yamsuf. So you're seeing the way everything fits together is Shira. Right? You see that
Everything
past,
comes
the
clear.
present, and the future all comes together in one picture.
Okay, that's a vark. Az Yashir Moshe.
It verbalizes your perception.
Okay.
Goes beyond the verbal though.
Whoa, we're getting good. Keep going.
I mean, shir without words is actually on a level that's
Nochach.
that I can sing something that I can't express otherwise.
Hasidic virus. Yeah. Okay, good. Aligim. And then there's even a higher Madriga.
No.
Still.
I read one somewhere. A smart man once said, nothing.
That's a famous piece of music, by the way.
Oh, is it?
John Cage came out, sat at the piano, played nothing, and then left.
Siag l'chach v'shtika. A smart man once said nothing. So here it says Rav Chananel Amar Rav. So let's call him Rav. Rav and Shmuel. Rav said, he knew this. Shalosh kitay shel malachei hasharis Reb Shir b'chayoyim achas omeres kadosh achas omeres kadosh achas omeres kadosh Hashem tzvakos. Don't think any malachim said kadosh. One said kadosh, the other one said kadosh, another one said kadosh. Three kitais, but the third one said kadosh Hashem tzvakos. Okay, good to know. Says the Gemara, Meisvei. Chaviv in Yisrael if now Kadosh Baruch Hu Yoser Malachei Hasharis. So why is there a Machlokes Rishonim before Shigabar that Chavivin? The answer is not say godless. It's Chavivin. Hashem loves people more than He loves Malachim. How do we know? She Yisrael Oibrim Shira B'Chol Shah. We're always saying Shira. Is that true? They're always saying Shira. Oz Yashir. What do we always?
We're allowed to say Shir whenever we want.
Oz Yashir. We always say Shira. But Yisrael Oibrim Shira B'Chol Shah. It has a pshat. Malachei Hasharis ain't Oibrim Shira La Pabachas B'Yai. Malachei Hasharis are limited to once a day. That's enough for you. Ve'Amrila, other opinions. Pabachas B'Shabbos. Well, once a day. Once a week you could say Shira Malach. Ve'Amrila, others say Pabachas B'Chodesh. Way too much for you once a week. Once a month say Shira. Zehu. That's your quote. Ve'Amrila Pabachas B'Shana. Once in 7 years is enough for you to say Shira. We're doing it every day, all day. It's a brisa that Malachim could say, according to the Maskana, the last sheet over here, you get to say Shira once in your life. Whereas Klal Yisrael, Chaviv in Yisrael, say Shira every day. It sounds so good, but what does it mean? Not only that, in the Shira, as Rashi learns, V'Yisrael, this is Yisrael, by the way, not every human, Yisrael. Yisrael Baskirinus Hashem Achar Shtei Tevois. When we're saying Shira, we say it after Shtei Tevois, 2 words in, Shelabar, because it says in the Chumash, Shema Yisrael, Hashem, Elokeinu, They have to go 3 words in, get it Steve Kadosh, Hashem. What do we just learn in huge Chiddush of the Gemara? That what's the Shira that we say every day? Shema Yisrael, Hashem Elokeinu, Hashem Echad. But Shema Yisrael is a Shira, and Kadosh is a Shira. And our Shira, Hashem gets into it 3 words in. Whatever. And the Shiras HaMalachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu gets into it only 4 words in, after 3 words. One has to finish 3 words, one has to finish 2 words. How is Shema Yisrael Shira? How's Kadosh sounds a little bit like Shira. But what is the Shira of Shema Yisrael? Why does the Birchos Kriya Shema have to be preceded by the Shira of Az Yashir? Because we're in Shira mode. And now we're talking about Shiras HaMalachim. First we're talking about Shiras Yisrael on Yam Suf. Then we're talking about Shiras HaMalachim. And then we're saying Shema. Do you get it? What's happening is the sequence is Ois Ketzeichen. That we start off with Shiras Yisrael when we came out of the Yam Suf. We go into the Shiras HaMalachim. This is how they say Shira. Then we say Shira, which is Shema Yisrael, Hashem Elokeinu, Hashem Echad. My kasha was, what is the Shema doing in the middle of the Shira here? The answer is, that is our Shira. And then we repeat all this in Kedusha, except the difference is that we do the whole thing. We say Kadosh like the Malachim do. And not only that, we say Shema Yisrael, Hashem Elokeinu, Hashem Echad. What's going on here? And
also standing.
Standing. Together, feet together, jumping up and down. So first of all, let's explain what Shira is. We had good shot. Let me tell you the Maral says. The Maral in verse Hashem says the following: that Shira is the pshat that I'm done. I've done my tachlis. I'm here. I'm finished. I've done what I was created for. There can be no. This is not an unpleasant thing. It's not a depressing thing. It's a wonderful thing. Like if you've accomplished your goal, you say Shira. how often do malachim publish their goal? Abrila, pamachas b'yoy, pamachas b'chodesh. How the malachim work and what the employment situation is up there is this a machlokes is tanoi. But when they're all done, they can say shira. Shira means that I can now praise Hashem. Kadosh, 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 Hashem tzvakos v'leichol haaretz. Says the Maral, that's malachim. But when we say shira, it's when we completed our task. You don't have to complete your task once in your lifetime. You complete your task every single day, and that's a shira. What's our task that we're completing when we say Shema? The answer is Kiddush Hashem. You see, because this is the way it works, and this gets us right into the Nefesh Hachaim. The way it works is that it depends what you're supposed to be doing. To make it simple, let's use a simple Kabbalistic concept just to make it easier for us. That in other words, Kabbalah are Mefarshim just like everything else, so it helps us understand it. So there's Arba Elamis, Atzilus, Bria, Yitzira, Asiya, Kadosh, Kadosh, Kadosh. It's 3 Elamis. They have to be those Elamis have to be Misake. Malay Kol Haaretz Kavaydai, or as the Malachim said, Aye Bekoim Kavaydai. Where is it? Where is the action? Where is this actually happening? What's all of this for? Atzilos, Bria, Yitzira. It's like that assembly line over here we're pushing here. Where is the finished product? We pushed it from a spiritual place to a more formative place to Bria, Atzilos, Bria, Abia, right? We pushed it to Yitzira, which is more Malachim, Mazolois, Shemesh, Yareach, and that's what the Moiros, that's what the sun and the moon are doing in there, because that's in the world of Yitzira. We've got all the way, but when do we get to the world of Asiya? The answer is, that's us. And when we can say, Shema Yisrael, Hashem Elokeinu, Hashem Echad, then we have done our task, because we've taken all of this and we brought it right down into this world. Made the world Kadosh. So Chaviv in Yisrael, that every single day, multiple times a day, possibly not even just by saying Shema, but by doing it, by living Al Pi Kiddush Hashem. So by doing this, what you're saying, what's Kiddush Hashem? Kiddush Hashem dying, that's the ultimate. You can only do that one. You can only do once. But that's the ultimate of showing that Hashem runs this world. He's what's important in this world. I'm willing to even die for it. But the question is, okay, without dying, what are you willing to give up? What you're willing to give up in this world, Yom HaShabbos, right? I'm willing to give up my job. I'm willing to give up what I want to say. I'm willing to give up what I want to eat. All that is Kiddush Hashem, because what I'm doing is I'm saying, Yim loich Hashem li olav lekayich tziyad. What am I doing when I'm building Yerushalayim, when I'm building the Beis Hamikdash? Yim loich Hashem lekayich tziyad l'dor v'dor halukah. If you look at the Kedusha, what's happening is we're going from a Makam Elyon to a Makam Labata.
Why is that giving up? It sounds like...
What giving up?
There's lots of Kiddush Hashem that doesn't mean giving up something.
It means that we're saying the important thing here is not us. The important thing here is HaKadosh Baruch Hu. I'm saying giving up as an example, but I'm saying what I'm proclaiming is that the important thing in this world is Hashem. That's what's important in this world. That's only Chaviv in Yisrael. First of all, you have to live in this world to do it. Can't do it from a different world. That's first of all. Second of all, presumably you have to be Jewish to do it, because we're the only ones who know how to do it. We are given the secrets of how to be Lekadesh Hashim. Now look at the words. Lekadesh Hashimcha ba'olam. We are being Lekadesh Hashimcha where? Ba'olam. Keshem Shabakti Shemaisai B'Shmei Barai. Just like the Malachim are Lekadesh Hashem B'Shmei Barai. How do the world do we know this? Kakasav Ayad Neviach. And we know it because of Kakasav Ayad Neviach. So what we do with the Sipur Dvarim and Birchos Kriya Shema is first help us understand what are the Malachim doing, and then immediately, and that's called Shira, because Pamachas but that's it, they've done it. And then we go immediately to Kriya Shema, which is what we do. That's what we do. We say Shema. So by saying Shema, now it's so interesting. Let me just take this a step further in the sequence of tefillah. The Nusach Sfard adds in. So that's like you have weekday, Shabbos, going to a more souped up version. Shachris, then to Musaf, and Nusach Sfard is like really descriptive, right? So they add in Nusach Sfard, whoever said I was Nusach Sfard adds in. Besides for everything else, hey, Goalti Eschem, right? Achris Kiracious. Liyois Lachem Leilokim. What's the Gula have to do with this? Shema, we just explained what the Shema has to do. You say Kaddish, 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 we say Shema before Shigamar. What does the Gula have to do with this? Because there is no Malchus which is more important than the Geula. The Geula is the Pshat, not just like it'll be easier to make a living. The Pshat, the Geula is that this is the Malchus Hashem, Malchus Hashem coming from a very, very high place, and we've done it. We brought it down to earth. We have a country, we have a city, we have a Mizbeach, we have a king. We brought peace into the world, we brought in a new world order, we fixed the world.
It's also the same thing with Tefillah, the Gula after Shema.
Sums out exactly that's where does this come from? Because that's the sequence. Kol asay by Gula l'tefillah, maybe Gula la'oila, right? So you can't. There has to be a Baruch Atah Hashem Goal Yisrael also. So why shouldn't there be in the replica or the repetition of it? Why should we say Hey Goal Eschem Achris Kiracious? What does that mean, by the way? Hey Goal Eschem. This Hashem Torah. He didn't say this anywhere. That's why we don't have it in the Hashem now. Hey Goal Eschem. Where does it say that? Hey Goal Eschem Achris Kiracious. That the final Gula will be just like Az Yasher Boishe, the Gulas Mitzrayim. Hey Goal Eschem Achris Kiracious. And what is it all about? This Gula? Liyois Lachem Leilokim. Elokim is the Bereshis Bar Elokim is the Elokim which is Mabish HaKadosh Baruch Hu as the Shechina Shaar in this world. And then what do we follow that with? Ad Yontiv, let's say. Adir Einu. Hashem Elokeinu. Adir Shimcha B'chol Haaretz. Right? Look what we've done. We brought HaKadosh Baruch Hu into this world. B'haya Hashem L'melech Al Kol Haaretz. Right? B'yoy Bahu Yeh Hashem L'melech Al Kol Haaretz. Right? That we all sing together. And then we say, Yiblaich Hashem Li'olam Aleikayich Tziyoin. We look how far we brought this. We brought it all the way down to the Har Habayis. Aleikayich Tziyoin. And then forever, the Dar Vadar, Hallelujah. So that's what? Yeah, it's all the same thing. So it's all the Kedusha is a beautiful synopsis of what's going on. What's going on in this, not just what's going on in Kedusha, that's what's important to understand for the Kavanas Hadvar, but it's an important synopsis of getting down to this world. Comes Reb Chaim Volozhin, the Nefesh Hachaim, who doesn't say any of this. But he says that if you want to understand, but now I think with this introduction and the Kavanah of Kedusha that we say all the time, besides for like, you can only say this B'tzibur. There's no provision at all for saying Kedusha B'yachid. We can talk about what the Malachim do, but we can't do it because it takes a minyan to do this correctly. Just like Kiddush Hashem, L'chatchila, should be Lifnei Asar B'Yisrael. So it's Kedusha has to be. It's not just Kabbalah. It's a davar sheba Kedusha. I mean, but what does that mean? It's a davar sheba Kedusha. It means that there's some things that require. Baruch Hu is one of those things. Lu Basam, Luslech Ashkenaz, Baruch, quote, Yoy Beirut. They say Baruch. What is the Baruch? Baruch Kvoid Hashem B'Koyba. Pasuk in Yecheskel. So Baruch Yoy Beirut. Baruch is already more down to earth than Kaddish. Comes from Reb Chaim Volozhin and he explains as follows: that to understand the point of being Yisrael is the side of Hiskashrus and the side of Hiskalulus. Two things. Side of Hiskashrus means that Kadosh is Mekasher, 3 worlds and 3 worlds only. In other words, are they on a higher Madrega? The Rambam says yes, of course, higher. Higher. But because they're closer to Atzilus. So you have a Kesher. Atzilus is not where Hashem is, by the way. Hashem is further, right? Leisas are Panui B'nei. When we're talking about Atzilus means Eitzel Hashem. So the Malachim can operate in the world of in three worlds, in the world of Atzilus, the world of Bria, the world of Atzilus, Kadosh, Kadosh, Kadosh. We can operate in the world of Yimlai Hashem Li'olam L'Kayach Tziyah, which comes after that. We can operate in the world of Kriya Shema. That's where we operate. So who's bigger? So it's not just we're bigger. It's that all of this. I'm not saying this lightly. I'm saying it because this is what the Nefesh Hachaim says. All of this that's going on here in these three worlds is meaningless. It's meaningless because the whole purpose of Hashem creating a nation here was because He wanted a dir b'tachtoin. So it doesn't mean anything. All of this, it's like, it's like to go back to my penny metaphor. It's like you're in the assembly line and they're putting the peas in the can, and then before they close the can, there's one guy at the end of the line who's just throwing them all out. So Lamali, call a factory hazeh. Like, what's this whole thing for if nobody's going to use it? Right. The whole thing is like that last guy, the Makim Patish. That's the one who's putting it on the shelves and giving people something to eat, or a car drive. Huh?
Hiskashrus is with the upper three?
Hiskashrus is that we can take all four worlds and make it real. And make it happen. So what's happening is that we are actually the Makim Patish of this whole line over here. So they're saying Yeshayahu says Kaddish, 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 but we have the bigger job of Baruch as the Navi says over here, as Yeshayahu said.
Touch the water.
Kaddish, Kaddish, Kaddish Hashem Tzvakais, and then Malay Kol Haaretz Kivaydai. The Malay Kol Haaretz Kivaydai is our job. On this, listen to this. On this, Yeshayahu said, not, who are I to hear this nevuah? That wasn't his point. His point was, you're giving me such a job of tying the whole thing together, Soid Ha'is Kashrus, really doing what Hashem wanted. Hashem wanted the world of El Yodim to come into the world of Taftoid. Ishtveis Vasayim Anoichi. Who's going to get this job done? So we don't have the Kedusha to do that. The people that I'm working with, I'm talking about a Chorban Beis HaMikdash. And there was a Chorban Beis HaMikdash. Yeshayahu spoke about a Chorban Beis HaMikdash because the purpose of the Beis HaMikdash is to do the Hiskashrus. And if you're not doing the Hiskashrus, it's not the Beis HaMikdash is a symbol of Hiskashrus. So if you're not doing the Hiskashrus, what do you do Beis HaMikdash? What happens? Stops over here. It stops over here. So this is circling and circling and circling and circling, and then coming down for a landing in the Beis HaMikdash. Beis HaMikdash has the Even HaShasiyah, which is the main, the dome of the rock. This is the rock, the Even HaShasiyah. Rimenu Hushasas Kol Ha'olam Kulai. Meaning that everything that there is in this world is coming from that mako. Everything that's being created on a regular basis is being hushasas minabakim hazeh. So that's where everything is coming from. So what's the Beis HaMikdash if you're not doing this? Is what Yeshayahu said. What's the Beis HaMikdash in my nevuah? His nevuah was so important, and the fact that we say it over. We're saying over nevuah Yeshayahu. The fact that we say this over every single day in davening, and we end off with kedusha, is that let's understand what we're doing over here, and why we're saying Shema. But you see, just to sum it all up, the important. They say after 3 words, we say after 2 words. First of all, as the Nefesh Hachaim says, when HaKadosh Baruch Hu created Malachim, He created a whole system over here. But to us, it was Vayipach Ba'apav Lishvas Chayim. So we're straight. We went straight. They have 3 words: Kaddish, Kaddish, Kaddish. They're Mekadosh 3 Olamos. Not Mekadosh. Mekasher 3 Olamos. So they have to say 3 words until they can get to the world of Hashem. So they have to get from Yitzira to Bria, Bria to Atzilus, to be Mekasher, the world of Hashem. We're getting there after 2 words. So what are the 2? What is the 2? If 3 means 3 Olamos, as all the Mefarshim say. What Rashi says that, by the way. Even he doesn't use such fancy words like I'm using, but he says this. Acher Beis Teva Shema Yisrael L'Malachim Ein Maskirdas Hashem B'Shirasam. So it's before Rashi that the Shema is a Shira. Ad la'acher gimel tevos kodesh kodesh kodesh, and the Klal Yisrael after 2 tevos. So what do the 2 tevos represent? We're in the world of Asiya,
And the rest. And the rest.
or either add the rest, or we take everything like this. Everything comes down to us. Here you have it. We take it from Asiya to Atzilus. So it comes out that the derech labata is a lot more circuitous than the derech labala, which is why we don't really need malachim to daven for us. You can pray to angels, but you can also go direct, which is why this is we're children when we say Makabla Dain V'Dain V'Aber Kaddish V'Shmei like talk about the malachim. Yes, of course the malachim are passing up the tefillas, but we don't really need that. We could go straight to HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Apparently we can go either way. You can go up this way. You can go this. This is the Sulam of Yaakov Avinu Malachei Elokim Oilam V'Yarden Bay. But the Oilam is a much shorter route, if you will, because it only needs 2 things. We need to be Mekadosh Hashem Ba'Olam. Kishem Shemati Shemoiseh V'Shmei Bar, right? And then we're right into the world of Atzilus. So that's the two Eilamais as opposed to the 3 Eilamais. So we have where they have Atzilus Bria Yitzira, we have Asiya and Atzilus. Does that make any sense to you? Not to me. but the words are correct. The words are correct. And that's Kedusha. That's why we end off. All of this goes into Baruch Atah Hashem Akel HaKadosh, because we're talking about the Kiddush Hashem, Atah Kadosh, Shimcha Kadosh, U'Kadosh B'chol Yom Ya'alucha Sela. It makes so much sense now why the bracha of Atah Kadosh, Shimcha Kadosh, U'Kadosh, that's us, B'chol Yom, like the Gemara says, Chol Yom Ya'alucha Sela are saying, what's Ya'alucha? Shira. That's the Shira, Yahalucha Sela. It's a funny thing to do, Yahalucha Sela. We say we're big Moshe Nefesh, we're doing mitzvahs, Yahalucha. No, this is called the Shira of Yahalucha Sela. So that's we're bringing up. It all comes down to our Kedusha. Hence Kedusha is called Kedusha. Hence the Shema is called Shira, and Shira is Kedusha, Kedusha is Shira, and this is the Tachlis of Basar V'Dam. Thank you.